The interior of the Telluride is really, really nice, especially when you look at the higher trim levels. Like this is the X line, second highest trim level in Canada. There are some US equivalents that are very similar spec-wise. It's just that the naming convention is different in Canada versus the States. But the X line seat, very, very comfortable. I love it. Really good amount of cushion for the headrest there. It's solid. And it's strictly a one-way headrest, or two-way, I guess, like up and down. You can't go forwards or backwards with it at all. But still, it's a really, really nice amount of cushion back there. That's pretty solid. Like I said, the overall seat comfort is really, really good too. The steering wheel inside of this thing now is really, really nice. That's good. Now the steering wheel itself does have a little heated option. So if your Telluride does have a heated steering wheel, you're going to find the button along the side. This is good. Like it. Now this is just going to be a basic walkthrough, but if you want a fully in-depth one of how to use the cluster screen, the multimedia screen, things like that, you'll find it down in the description of the video. But some basics, stick there lets you control your lights, turn your fog lamps on or off. Stick on the right side is going to be for your front or your rear wiper. Very nice. Got a voice command prompt, a few mode buttons, answer or hang up on a phone call. And then these are going to be the buttons for your smart cruise control system. So once you're driving, you turn it on, and then you can increase or decrease 1 kilometer, 1 mile per hour at a time. Distance indicator, so how close or far are you away from the vehicle that's in front of you. And then there's a lane centering button there as well. So that's going to keep you perfectly balanced in your lane as you go. Beautiful though all around. It's good. Like this. Dash, one cool thing, look at this. Will you be able to see it? Oh yeah, you can. Head-up display inside of this thing. So the HUD is available here as an option if you want it. It's not standard in all trim levels of the vehicle, but it is available. And you've got content selection as well. So through this screen, you've got the flexibility of going through, setup, vehicle. You can kind of customize it a little bit. So head-up display. What do you want it to do? So you can sync it up. You can adjust the brightness of it and a few other things. But one nice thing is that you can also figure out what content you want there. So if you've got a route going, driver convenience settings, you want your radio media information going as well, you've got that flexibility. But I mean, it's so nice that that's available as an option there. You can kind of see right along the side there, that's where it's projecting from. But it's beautiful. Really not obtrusive, which is great. Nice dash along the top, you can see. Wood grain follows all the way through. You could do like a 3M wrap as well if you wanted something different. But the media screen inside of this thing is really, really nice. It does have factory navigation. You can hook up your phone if you want to as well to use nav that way. But you can go full screen maps. Very nice. Phone, like I said, you can go Bluetooth. So if you wanted to just stream your music if you want or make phone calls, or you can go through a wired connection if you wanted to use Google Maps, Apple Maps, or Waze if you're hooked up through Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Like I said, if you want to walk through and how that stuff works, you'll find it down in the description of this video. So much stuff though. This little volume rocker. So the screen itself does have the flexibility of being able to use AM, FM, Sirius XM, there are sounds of nature, and then if you had a USB stick with MP3s, you could also use this on top of that. So the speaker setup inside of the Telluride is going to depend on which trim level of the vehicle that you're in. But this one has the upgraded Harman Kardon sound system, which sounds really good. So I'm going to do a little USB audio test. I'm going to start off at 0, and then I'm going to work my way up. And this is just coming right out of the microphone, so there's no post-processing done inside of this whatsoever. Today's going to be a good day. Wake up. Today's going to be a good day. Wake up. Today's going to be a good day. Wake up. Today's going to be a good day. So that was set to a little over half volume. So the immersive audio experience that you get inside of this thing is really, really good. You can see there, 12-volt power point, USB, USB Type-C. And then if you've got a phone that supports wireless charging, and if it's charging up, you're going to see a little indicator light letting you know. And then it also shows you inside of the media screen that a phone's charging up. So you take that off, and all of a sudden that message is gone, which is really useful. But back down, this thing also has the option for heated and ventilated first row seats. Beautiful, beautiful, and so useful all at the same time. Nice little assist handle on both the driver and the passenger side. A little phone storage or storage in general with some cup holders there. You've also got your shifter, which, I mean, the shifter feels good in the hand. You've got park reverse neutral drive, and then if you prefer, you can also go manual mode, so you can adjust what gear you're in as you go. Useful. There are a series of different drive modes that are available as well, so you can switch between them this way, so you go between your different drive modes, and then if you push the button, that shoots you out to go between all of your other modes, so your terrain modes. But when you go through the different modes, it also tweaks out the look of the cluster screen. So smart, sport, eco, comfort, and then terrain, you've got snow, mud, or sand. So you can kind of go between any of these modes, but I love how in the sport mode, it tweaks out the overall look. Beautiful. Moving back down, auto start stop. So that's the one that's potentially going to kill power to the engine if you're stopped for an extended period of time. The beeping that you get as you back up or if you get closer to obstacles, if you wanted to turn that off, you could. Auto hold setting is a useful one. So with the auto hold setting turned on, if you go into drive, you take your foot off the brake, the car is not moving. Very useful safety setting there. There's the parking brake and then the button for 360 camera. Oh yeah, really nice. So you've got your 360 view. You can kind of zoom in, out if you'd like to there. But you've also got a few other modes. So you've got like a tow mode, so it's essentially camera shooting down if you need to hook up a trailer. Backup camera, split view. So this essentially takes your side view mirrors and it shines the cameras that way instead. But one really cool thing about the side view mirrors is that they do have the flexibility of showing what's going on in your blind spot right through the cluster screen as well. I mean, it's so nice. That, like I said, utilizes the side-mounted cameras to use. But the 360 camera there also utilizes the side cameras in order to show this view. But then there's also a really cool, look at this, love it, 360 view there instead. So kind of as you're moving, you could swing it out to this 360 view if you want to. It does stay on at low speeds, but the second you start driving too fast, it does go away, especially when you park. But that's nice. Armrest there is great. There are a few cup holders back there. And then inside of the armrest, there's a little bit of storage space. USB power point down along the very bottom there too. And shooting up overhead, this one has a very unique mirror. So it's got the auto dimming function, but it's also got, look at this, fully digital in the sense that we can see what's going on right behind us. So you could adjust this out if you want to, so you can brighten it up. You can go higher or lower as well. So it essentially uses a camera that's positioned on the back of the vehicle in order to go this way. So you can flip it out to like a traditional rear view if you want to, or you can go fully digital. I honestly love the fully digital view. I'd probably keep that on the majority of the time. It is such a damn nice feature. I love it. And then you can see there, individual settings. So if you've got a garage door opener at home, you could program it in if you want to. Got basic sunglasses holder. And then 2 individual controls. So this is going to be to open up the shade for the rear. And then this opens up the actual roof itself there. So let's go through. Like I said, shade in the second row, and it's literally just a shade. So you don't have the option to open up that second row window. It's just for the shade. But in the front there, you just have to do it yourself to slide open. And then you can push if you wanted to vent this thing out. But you could also do a push and hold in order to open it instead. Really nice. And then single button press will close it. And just manually slide back again. Got cabin control lights there as well, or you can control each one individually. Tow mode and SOS mode. The visor has a little business card, receipt holder, whatever the case may be. And this thing, you can see there, the light pops on when you get past a certain point in the vanity mirror, which is great. It's nice. And this thing extends out, blocking all of the sun that might be hitting your face, which is great. Only other thing to point out is that overhead you've got a little assist handle, and that's the same for the driver-passenger side in the first and the second row. So I'm 6 feet tall, and with the seat set up the way that I would typically drive, in the second row I've got a great amount of foot space, great amount of knee space, And like headspace inside of the second row, 3.5, almost 4 inches of space there, which is amazing. You're going to find a little bar between the legs of these second row seats, and that's to slide the seats forwards or backwards. So if you need to create a little bit more space for people that are in the third row, you do have that available as an option if you want it. But comfort of the seat is definitely there. Headrest, not as comfortable as the first row, but still, it's pretty solid. Now, a few interesting things about the Telluride for the second row. You've got the option for either dual captain's chairs, like what we're looking at, or it's going to be a bench seat, so 8-seat configuration total. And the number of seats you get is going to depend on which trim level of the vehicle that you're looking at. Along the driver's side door, see a little tab there, and that's going to be for your sunshade. Beautiful. You've got this little wood grain along the door, a few speakers there, your basic window control, and then the option for heated and ventilated second row seats. Really nice. Another speaker along the door there, and then you've also got a tiny little bit of storage space as well. Behind the first row seats, driver passenger side, there are some pockets back there too. And then just behind the armrest, so I did mention there are a few cup holders there, but there's also a 12-volt power point as well as a 150-watt power point, so a traditional wall outlet. Up overhead, there's a little handle with a hook on both the driver passenger side, a few basic vents, little controls for cabin lights. You can also adjust what's going on with the temperature for the second, third row, and have it go to an auto mode, have this going to face feet, can turn the system off, and then you can also adjust the fan speed if you'd like to. If you've got child seats, front-facing, rear-facing, not going to be a problem. You've got all of the anchor points and the tether points in the second and the third row. One nice thing about having the dual captain's chairs is that you can very easily shimmy into the third row. So not tricky by any stretch of the imagination. So if you need to get into the third row, very simple with the dual captain's chairs with that easy pass through to the back. But if you needed to, if you've got the bench configuration or you just physically can't fit in between the seats, there is a button along the top, so you can use that in order to slide the seat forward if you wanted to. And then getting in and out on top of that is very straightforward. With the second row seat, as far back as it's going to go, in the third row, I actually do have a little bit of knee space, a little bit of foot space. The foot space, not crazy comfortable by any stretch, just because of the way that the floor is, but I can still fit in the third row with the second row seat as far back as it'll go. I did mention there's a bar that you can use to slide the second row seat forwards a little bit more if you need to create a bit more space. But I mean, realistically, if I was in this middle seat, just kind of like stretch your legs out. It just would be very, very tight if you had 3 full-size versions of me in the third row. Up overhead, I've got a little bit of space, like half an inch roughly, and then there's also this little seatbelt. One neat thing is I didn't even realize this could do it, but you could just slide the seatbelt up and tuck it in, and all of a sudden, you don't have to worry about it hitting your head anymore. So if you've only got 2 people in the third row, it's kind of cool. You could lock that thing up if you wanted to. No idea. You learn new things all the time. A few small highlights. A few USB power points, so Type-C along the driver-passenger side. A few cup holders along both sides on top of that. That's really about it.